apparently Boris Johnson is not at all popular with the public. What would you say to that?
Well, I'd say there's only one poll which ever matters, Kay, and that's the poll that takes place during a general election. And Boris Johnson won as an 80-seat majority at the last general election less than 3 years ago. There are polls come and go, and I'm afraid I don't actually take an awful lot of notice of them because there's only one that matters. And as you know, we won an 80-seat majority.
Absolutely.
Under Boris Johnson.
Yes, indeed. He's going to be finding it hard to celebrate the Commonwealth Games, though, isn't he, because of what has happened. What has the nation lost, do you think, as far as Boris Johnson is concerned when he resigned?
So I think he lost somebody who took us through a pandemic, who gave the Conservative Party, my party, an 80-seat majority, something that hasn't happened since for 40 years. He gave us a mandate. He took us through a pandemic, which has had global repercussions. He led us and was the first global leader to help Ukraine and helped us lead an effort to support Ukraine through Putin's barbaric attack. He ensured and guaranteed that we were the first country in the world to get a vaccination into somebody's arm as part of the war on COVID. And also helped to take us into economic growth out of the pandemic. So I think Boris Johnson's achieved a huge amount. And for me, they are the signs of a great leader, what they achieve when they're in office. And I think he did that.
You were devastated, weren't you, when it happened? Tell us how you felt.
I was very disappointed. I thought it was a huge mistake. But what I would say is that in Liz Truss, we have somebody who has both integrity and loyalty and is able to pick up the baton using those very important qualities to take the country forward. So I think, you know, what happened has happened. We have to look to the future now. And for me personally, I'm looking to Liz Truss, who I think has many of those qualities and will be able to step into the role as Prime Minister from day one, hit the ground running, and be able to deal with some of the very complex problems that we're facing as a nation as a result of a global pandemic and because of the war in Ukraine, the effects of which are still going on today and we will still feel for the future to come.
To what extent do you blame Rishi Sunak for Boris Johnson's demise?
So, look, I don't want to get into the... So, as you can see, Kay, behind me, there are dancers at this early hour of the morning.
I'm coming on to that. Yeah, I'll come on to that, as I said right at the beginning. I'm asking you to what extent do you blame Rishi Sunak for Boris Johnson's demise?
So, it is not a secret that things happen that shouldn't have happened, and that Boris Johnson was removed via a coup. But I don't know if you can hear behind me, but I'm in Birmingham, and today is the first day of the Commonwealth Games, which is going to be the most successful Commonwealth Games ever to have been held.
I'm going to talk all about that with you.
Thousands of people, including volunteers and athletes.
I want to know what you think about Rishi Sunak and to what extent he was responsible for the demise of Boris Johnson. And then we will come on to the Games in the fullness of time.
Look, Kate, I don't want to... today, because it's the opening of the Commonwealth Games, because we have the Lionesses going to Wembley on Sunday, because these few days are going to be fantastic sporting events, not just for sport, not just for the Commonwealth, but for women particularly. Today is the day I don't want to engage in the leadership. I want to talk about the really important things that are happening here in Birmingham and the West Midlands and in Wembley on Sunday, because I'm the Secretary of State for DCMS. This is what my department has been working on. We even have one of our own civil servants competing from my department in the Commonwealth Games today. For me, the next few days are not about leadership. They're about showcasing what is great about this country, what is great about the West Midlands, and what is the important things that are happening here in Birmingham today.
So the leadership race isn't important for the next few days?
So the leadership race is going to go on all through the summer and will conclude on September the 5th, at which point we will have a new leader and a new Prime Minister. For the next few days, please forgive me, but I am going to focus on what we've been working on in my department, for years before I arrived. You know, we delivered these games in 4.5 years. It takes 7 normally. We delivered them on budget. The government's invested over £600 million in these games. For me, today is an important day. It's the opening of something we've been working on as a government and as a department over a number of years. I mean, forgive me, I want to focus on the positives about what's happening here, the athletes who are here competing, the thousands of volunteers that we have working here, and the buzz which is in this city today. There's been nothing as big as this in this country since 2012 in the Olympics. It's a really important day, and I think we should be focusing on the positives.
And should we be spending £778 million on a vanity project?
It's not a vanity project, Kay. Come on. This is hugely important. You're saying we shouldn't have the Commonwealth Games? I think we are proud and honoured to have picked up the baton when it was dropped elsewhere in the world and to continue to run these Commonwealth Games in the amazing way that we have done. Everybody here, thousands of people, are extremely proud, including the volunteers behind me right now, extremely proud of what we're doing. And you know, the Commonwealth, it's an important organisation, particularly in light of what's happening globally on the geopolitical front, and particularly with Russia and China and the war in Ukraine. It's more important than ever. And these games, they symbolise that. They symbolise the coming together of those nations. So, of course, it's not a vanity project. It's an important project, and it's one we should continue.